Okay, so in this question we're given a right angle triangle ABC with the angle A being 35 degrees and the hypotenuse being AB is equal to 12 centimeters. And we're simply asked to find the side length opposite the angle A. So that's going to be the side BC, and to give our answer correct to one decimal place. And so for questions like this, I always think the best place to start is to actually draw the triangle in question. So we know it's going to have a right angle, so we can just draw that straight away. Don't worry about the side lengths being accurate visually, as long as the correct numbers on the side length, so we can actually label our sides here. And the most important thing is to make sure we get the hypotenuse as the correct side. So we know that's the side AB, so we can put A up here at the top and then B on the bottom right. And we know that's going to be 12 centimeters long, so that's our hypotenuse, and our right angle over here is on the left. And then the last piece of information we're given is that this angle in here, the angle A, is going to be 35 degrees. So that is basically all the information we're given in our question. And we're going to be asked to find the side length BC, which is going to be this side here on the bottom. So we're going to be looking for that now. And so immediately you can see that obviously we're dealing with a right angle triangle, but we don't have two side lengths, so we can't use Pythagoras, and that means that we have to use a different rule, which I'll write down here now. And so the rule we're going to be using here is called SOHCAHTOA. So this is basically a shorthand way of writing it, and what this means, I'm just going to write out the full version because this is the first question of the quiz. So what this means is that the sine of some angle x is going to be equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. So that's the crucial piece of information here, is that this is only true for right angle triangles like the one we have in the question. And so sine is going to be the opposite over the hypotenuse, cos x is going to be the adjacent for the hypotenuse, and then tan x is going to be the opposite over the adjacent. And so you can see here that if we look at the angle we're given, 35 degrees, what we basically need to look for is which two sides are involved. So it's that simple. So we just look at the sides involved, so we know that we've got the hypotenuse, and so that narrows it down to either sine or cos, because those are the two trig ratios which involve the hypotenuse. And then secondly, to find the other side involved, we can simply look at the side length we're asked to find, which is going to be opposite this 35 degree angle. So directly opposite the angle we have the side BC, which we don't know yet, but we can find using both the opposite and the hypotenuse in this trig ratio. So we're going to be using sine here. So the best way to actually get familiar with these is just to practice. So just practice kind of identifying which ratio you can use for any given question, but that's going to be it in terms of identifying now. So we can actually set up our equation, and so our angle is going to be sine 35, or well, we're going to have the sine of our angle 35, and then the right hand side we're going to have the opposite, which we don't know yet, so we're just going to leave that as BC over the hypotenuse, which we know is going to be 12 centimeters, which is given in the question. And so it is very useful here to have the diagram. We can see clearly what's going on. And so now the only step is going to be to get BC on one side on its own. And so the best way to do that is simply to multiply across by 12. So we're going to have BC is equal to 12 sine 35. And then we can simply plug this in our calculator now to find the side length BC. And so this is going to be equal to 6.88 and correct to one decimal place. We can simply round up. And so we're going to get that the side length BC here is going to be 6.9 centimeters. And also make sure you include your unit, that's quite important. So that is going to be it for this question.